both of you went through is keeping a nucleus and a core together, which has to make it easier, right? You're not in a situation like, let's say, Boston is in this year with so many new pieces. How important was that, Zeke, for them to go out and to bring the band back together from Iguodala to Livingston all the way to Pachulia? I mean, really outside of even JaVale came back.
Yeah, and that's what a championship team wants. You want another opportunity to stay together and do it again. And you always appreciate management when they do that for you to give you the opportunity. I think Golden State's going to have a huge edge this year, Mac, because, you know, when you look at training camp and you look at the lack of preparation time, you look at the lack of practice time, the teams that have been together for a while know what to do, know how to do it, play calling, system, so forth and so on. The first 20 to 25 games, you have a huge advantage.
Yeah.
In Golden State, the first 25 games out of the box, they're going to have a huge advantage over the rest of the league because of the lack of practice time that's taking place for the rest of the league. Right?
You know, the other thing was, despite how great Kevin Durant is, it's amazing because we sat here a year ago, right? The three of us, what are we talking about, Matt? We're talking about, well, how's KD going to fit in? Fit in pretty darn well. What do you expect now in year two? It's crazy to say he could get better with this group, but can he be more comfortable now with this group?
Yeah, he'll be more comfortable. You talked about keeping the band together. And what they were able to do is what we were able to do in Boston a little bit. We added Dennis Johnson in '84. We added Bill Walton in '86. You add a piece to your team that really just helps it. Last year they added KD. He had a great year. He was so efficient. His defense improved. I mean, he was as good as I've ever seen that guy play as efficient. This year, he's going to be more comfortable in the system. And as Isaiah just said, that first 20, 25 games, man, you hope you don't have them 2 or 3 times. Like, I hope we have them later when we can get some rhythm because they're going to come out. They're going to come out on fire and come out, playing their style of basketball, which they've perfected.
Now, I've got two tough guys here on my desk. I'm neither of those two. How much would you have loved to play with a Draymond Green? I would assume, knowing you, Zeke, he's up near the top of the list of guys you'd like to be with because of how he sets the culture for this team.
Yeah, he definitely could have played for us with the Detroit Pistons because, he's a defense-first guy. His attitude, in terms of competitiveness, competition, he goes out, he competes, he guards 1 through 5, and he never backs down from a challenge. But most importantly, Mac, he'll say what needs to be said in the huddle and also in the locker room. He will have that uncomfortable conversation. And we saw it early last year with Kevin Durant. When Durant first came, Draymond was the one who was getting in his face like, hey, you got to set that screen or we got to do this. This is how we do it here. So he's the perfect complementary player for the superstars that they have.
Yeah, he screamed, move the ball at KD last year. And KD kind of looked at him like, man, you love to play with a guy like that because he's about winning. And, he might go out there one night and have 8 points, but he might have 12 assists and 13 rebounds, lock down the other team's best offensive guy. The next night he might have 20, but I don't think he cares about that. I mean, he really is a really well-rounded basketball player and with Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, but I tell you what. Yeah. He's too small to guard me now. I wish he'd been on your team. Yeah,
you knew that was coming, right?
He too little for you.
Yeah,
but what was that game you called last year? He almost got the quadruple double. Was you calling that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he missed it by 1, but didn't even go for it?
No, he didn't even go for it. As a matter of fact, he sat out at the end of the game where he could have gone.
Well, they were probably up by.
And,
They were probably up by 30 at that point. By the way, how good is this team? One of the greatest shooters of all time. Klay Thompson doesn't even make it in the first segment.